What's up, my friend? It's Coach Ash Wilking. Welcome to your post-slopes stretch. Listen, I'm a snowboarder. If you're a skier, maybe you go snowshoeing, whatever it is. You just got done and your body's like, I just need to stretch it out. This is for you. By the way, you don't also have to hit the slopes. This can be midsummer and you're at the beach. Let's do it, shall we? We're taking it onto our mat. You are going to need your bench, but the first two movements you do not. So as you come down, reminder, anytime you're doing a stretch or mobility, feel free to take your shoes off, right? Get really comfortable. We're going to get into a quadruped position. We're going to start here. We're going to do some spinal waving. Now, this one really leans into the cueing. So kind of listen to the things I'm saying rather than trying to watch. So I just want you to get comfortable for a second. Give me a few cat-cow. So drop your belly, lift your chin, and then scoop under as you press the ground away. Just kind of moving through those. So we're going to get back into this, except we're going to wave it. We're going to start from one end of our body and move to the other. So I want everybody to get back into a neutral position. And I just want you to lift up your tailbone as you drop your belly. Now I want you to hold there, right? Your booty's popped up in the air, but your eyes are down. Then slowly, I want your chest to fall down, and then I want you to lift your chin high. We're going to hold that for a second. Now we're going to reverse it. So keep your eyes up, eyes up, eyes up. Ready? Tuck your tailbone, but keep your eyes up. Tuck your tailbone, and as soon as you get past your belly button, then your ribs pull in. Once your ribs pull up, then your eyes can come down and you press the ground away. Hold. So you're pressing the ground away. You're looking at your belly button. Now I want you to poke your booty up. So start to roll your tailbone out. And then your belly drops. Once your belly drops, your ribs drop, your chest drops, then your chin lifts. This is called spinal segmentation. So your spine is made up a lot of little bitty pieces. Start to move that tailbone down, belly comes in, ribs come in, eyes go down, and we press the ground away. We should be able to move through our spine rather than just moving it one big block at a time. We're moving these little bitty movements at a time. So hands are driving, chin is up, ready, set, tuck the tailbone. Once your tailbone tucks, belly button tucks, ribs tuck, chest tucks, then you press the ground away, big stretch for your back. Ready? Let your tailbone pop up. Once your tailbone pops up, your belly pops down, your chest pops down, you roll up. Ready? 3, 2, and you can just give me a few cat-cows coming on out of that. Nice work. All right. Coming down to the ground. Now we're going to take this into a cobra position. Lots of like twisting and opening on this one. So please always know, go as far as you can. If anything ever feels too tense, come on out of it. So we're going to stay down on the elbows for this one. Hands are going to go forward. Now feet are behind you. We're going to take one arm. Have you ever done a T-spine rotation with me? We've kind of rotated in quadruped. We're going to do it from here. So here's what I want you to do. Take your right arm, slide it out, and then drag it across. So your left elbow still down. You're going to take your right fingertips and just put them behind your head. So notice your right elbow is kind of reaching forward and it's in the middle. All we're going to do is lift that right elbow up. I want you to press into your left and you're going to try to look towards the right side of the room. Oh, that one gets spicy quick. Am I right? Come back down. Elbow comes in the middle. Ready, set. We're going to drive through that arm and we're just going to kind of open up. Now, being very specific, thinking about being on the slopes. Anytime you're skiing, you're snowboarding, there's a tendency to hunch forward, right? You're bent through the knees, you're loaded through your lower body, and your upper body is kind of rounded. So anytime you do something rounded consistently, where my cyclist at, we need to make sure that we are opening up through that spine. Just give me a few more seconds, and then we're going to roll these shoulders out. Ready, set, lift. Doesn't have to go very far. Last one. Ready? Set, lift. Good. Bring both arms down. Here's all I want you to do. Give me some shoulder rolls. And you're like, what? Yeah. Give me some shoulder rolls. Doesn't look like anything. Kind of looks a little funky. But all you're doing is just kind of moving through your joints. Now, I like doing this as shoulder cars because check this out, right? You are literally keeping your elbows locked into place and you're just kind of moving around in those shoulders. All right. Other side. Cool. Left arm is going to reach across to the right. You're going to take your left fingertips, put them behind your ears. And when you're ready, you're going to drive into your right elbow. You're going to open up your left elbow and kind of look slightly to the left. Come on back down. Listen, this one can get very spicy very quickly. We can find a lot of tension as we start to rotate. And especially in our lower back, in our erectors, so the muscles that run along the back of your spine. If you have been holding them in a crunched position, the second you engage them to lift into extension, they immediately are like, no, thank you. I'm good. I don't want to do this. And they kind of start screaming a little bit. So I don't want you to push the scream. I want you to get into it. And then I want you to relax for a second. Ready? And open this up. Listen, you already had your fun today. The idea is this is after your work. This is after the slopes. This is after your run or your cycling. You're just kind of moving and just like opening up a little bit. All right, ready? Let's do one more in 3, 2, 1. Hands come down. Maybe you lift all the way up into a big stretch and then you sit back. All right, go ahead and grab your bench. Anybody else have dogs? You know, it's like one of those things where if they do a big stretch, you have to say big stretch. All right, bring your bench in. Nice and simple. We're going to take this into a quad stretch. Now, right away, I'm going to say this. If you get into a bench quad stretch and it feels too deep, one of the things you can do is just take your mat. Maybe you fold it 2, 3 times, right? It gives you a little extra lift. If you have a pillow that you want to use, you can use a pillow. If you have a foam mat that you want to use, you can use a foam mat, but it's going to give you a little extra lift. That's always there for you. All right, so half kneeling position kind of looks like the bottom of the Bulgarian split squat, which we all love, and we're not going to lift. We're just going to hold, all right? So as we are in this position, I want to talk about pelvic placement here. All right, so what I want you to think about, 2 things. One, you have a belt buckle on the front of your hips. And I want you to imagine that you're trying to look at it without actually turning your head down, right? So you're actually just going to kind of lift that belt buckle up. Now, in doing that, you're doing the opposite. You're going belt buckle up, tailbone down. So you're kind of pushing your tailbone down. Finding that pelvic tilt with the tailbone down and this belt buckle up, you're finding a really deep stretch in your quads, and you're just kind of holding on to it. Now, a few things can happen here. 1, you can lean forward. You can use that leg, right? But 2, you can also press and try to come upright. The depth of the stretch all depends on the depth of the movement, right? However you set up your skeletal body in space is how you're going to feel this stretch. Now, if you would like to, you could take both of your hands and come down inside that front foot. Now, as you do that, all of a sudden you get this like inkling. You just want to like rock this front knee out and back, give it a little rotation out. Now you're finding a really deep stretch through the front side of that hip, right? You're finding this deep stretch underneath that leg and on the interior side of your hip, those adductors. Listen, I don't ski a lot. I have been skiing. And the work that you have to put into holding those skis together so you don't completely go like baby giraffe, legs out, arms out kind of thing. 3, 2, 1. As you come on up, the adductors are how those skis stay together. Pizza. All right. You ready to switch to the other side? Let's do the other side. I'm going to go left foot forward. I'm going to go right knee back. Nice. All right. Go ahead and find your positioning. So laces down, front toe is forward, and then every leg is different. Every joint is different. So I want you to come up as far as you can, however this feels comfortable for you. And let's talk about that pelvic placement. So your hips are just one big contraption. And all we're kind of doing is either going this way or that way. So I want you to think tailbone down, belt buckle up. So it's the opposite. Tailbone down, belt buckle up. Now, as you do that, feel the stretch in that quad. Notice that if you poke your booty out, you feel less of the quad. If you tuck the tailbone, if you lift that front side, that belt buckle, you will feel that stretch on the front side of the hip. Hello, quads. Hip flexors. Again, when you are locked in a short position for a long amount of time, you are going to need to open that up, and it's not going to be comfortable. The nice thing is you can just kind of hang out. Shall we stretch that front leg? If you would like to, both hands are going to come down to the floor, and we're just going to fall forward, and we're going to hold. Now, if it feels good to take that front knee and wiggle it out and wiggle it in, I already know what you're thinking. Ash, I can't get my hands to the floor. No problem. Grab your foam roller, right? Grab something where you can lift your hands up a little bit off the floor, but you can kind of still fall forward. That's always the one thing that I'll say. If you're ever doing mobility and stretching and you find that you can't get into a movement, 1, you can't get your knee all the way to the floor. 2, you can't get your hands all the way to the floor. Bring the floor to you. Bring your bench to you. Lift everything up to you and your space and your depth, and then work from there. Ready? We're going to come out of this one in 3, 2, 1. All right, come on out. If you have your mat rolled up, you can kind of roll it back on out. We're going to get back into a half kneeling position. I love this one. And you will see this quite a bit in some of my programs. We're going to use our bench to get into a half kneeling position. But instead of putting all the weight on that bottom leg, we're going to use the bench to create a bit of feedback. Remember I said, bring it to you. All right, so we're going to have a seat. Let's do it this way. Let's have a seat on the bench, but I want you exactly how I am. My bench is behind you. You're going to take your right leg and you're going to swing it off to the side and you're going to scooch over to the right. Now your right knee is going to come down to the floor. It should be just on the outside of the right foot. And then you're in a half kneel position. Look at that. However, your bench is supporting your left butt cheek. Good. Hold on to it. Now we already stretched that quad, but let's get a bit more into that rotation in our upper body. So hands behind the head. Open up that chest. All right, here's what we're going to do. Your left knee is forward, so we're going to just look over the left side. As you look over the left side, again, remember those erector muscles we talked about, your back? Those can get a little tense, so go as far as you can and hold. Here's where it gets fun. We're going to drop our left elbow back. And you're like, say what? Yes. We're going to actually fall backwards. Now, because we're twisted, we can't really fall a ton. So I want you to let go of your left hand and place it on your bench. Now, if you can, try to hook your fingers under your bench, right? Just like if we were doing a lateral bench jump. And then I just kind of want you to walk your fingers and pull yourself back if you can and bend that elbow. So you're pulling, but you can also push if you need to. So a reminder, your right knee is down. Your left leg is up. You're twisted over to the left side. You are pulling yourself back. It looks very similar to that cobra stretch we did, but now we're doing it in a half kneel. Take a big breath in. Come on out of it. And just twitch to the other side. Give it a little wiggle side to side. Nice. Ready? And let's switch to the other. Do you like that one? Do you hate it? Amazing. All right. Right foot goes forward. Left knee comes down. Half kneeling position. Left knee is on the floor. Right knee is forward. We're going to go hands behind the head. Nice and wide with those elbows opening up through the chest. When you're ready, we're going to look over that front leg. Find that twist. All right, so we are locking our hips into place by using the bench and the floor. When you're ready, take your right arm. We're going to lean back. Now, there's a few ways you can do this. You can keep your hands exactly where they are. By taking your hand and placing it on your bench, you're supporting yourself a bit more. Again, you're bringing the support to you. So if you want to, you can scoot your hand out a little more, right? If you want to, you can pull on that bench a little bit more, but not if you want to. You have to. I need you to breathe. Big breath. And exhale out. Now feel how your abdominal wall on the front side, those obliques, are getting a big stretch open as you come on out of it. Nice job. Woo! Give it a little twist to the other side. Let those muscles know they can relax. Good. Have a seat all the way. Just a nice easy figure 4. You've done this one before. Right foot's going to come up. Place that right foot on top of your knee and then hold. Again, Ash, this is tough for me. No problem. I want you to lift your seat. So I literally want you to sit on a pillow or sit on a foam mat or take your mat and fold it 3 or 4 times and get a little higher with your hips. If the seat ever feels too low, bring it up, right? Just bring it on up. Now we're just holding this one. Nice and easy. We're working the outsides of those hips. Now, again, I'm a snowboarder, so I don't have to do that whole skating thing out to the side. But apparently when you ski, the outside of your hips are oof. So we want to give them a nice big stretch. But I did go snowshoeing, and let me tell y'all, that was hard. All right, chest goes forward. Ooh, nice, easy. Relax as we switch to the other side. Because let's be honest, we go on a snowboarding trip, a ski trip, we don't just go for one day. We go for the week, and then we're exhausted by day 2. So we're just prepping to make sure we can hit the slopes one more time. Chest goes forward on the other side, little figure 4. All right. How we feel, everybody? Pretty good? Nice and limber? All right, let's go feet out. If you can, scooch off the front side of your bench. We're going to get into a little yogi squat. If that feels good. If it doesn't, you can just completely skip it. All right, hands are going to go down. I like to roll up. So we're going to go hips up. We're going to roll up. Ooh, a little more limber than when we started. How do we feel? Regardless of what sport you're doing, if you're hitting the slopes or you're just hanging out at the beach, this is a great one to kind of roll around and get moving. Again, if you ever have questions, take a little selfie of yourself hanging out after you did all your mobility. I love to see them. I love to hear them. Tag me on Instagram. Hit me up in the OTC. I'm Coach Ash Wilking. Nice work today. Enjoy the slopes tomorrow, right? I'll see you later.